kuongea siasa mchana mpaka usiku. Na wakati nilisema hivyo nikasema, chameni, kwa heshima, kwanza tufanye kazi, tutarudi wakati wa siasa ukifika. Nikaambiwa wewe huna uwezo wa kutuambia tuache. Nikasema sasa hii mambo ya kutangatanga, akasema wacha sisi tutangatange. Nikasema basi wala kama hivyo ndivyo umeona ndio inakutosheleza, endeleeni. Sisi na wale tumebaki tufanye kipindi cha siasa sikifika, tutakuja tuseme na yetu sisi. Sasa kipindi ya siasa imekuja na mtatusikia.
That is President Uhuru Kenyatta. He was in Mombasa yesterday. He says that political season has come. But there are people who have been speaking to him over the past few weeks. They've been telling him that first spares the kitendawili experiment. They have said that you cannot succeed yourself. But Musalia Mudavadi said something else yesterday. Listen.
Sisi tunataka heshima yake kama president wa Kenya. Akimaliza juhudi lake la kuongoza Kenya, aende apumzike, awe mtu wa kusalamia watu kitaifa na kufanya peace initiatives.
All right, and let me begin with you, S.J. Sosion, watching this, because I heard you say a few things earlier on during our earlier conversation. But when the president says that indeed, I know you were not in the arrangement of Jubilee Party at that time, or even now, when the president said that let us work first, then we'll get to the political season, what caused this disagreement that has now gotten us to where we are, that he has a different preference for who to succeed him, and not seeing eye to eye with William Ruto, who now you're working with, that you'd want to be president come
those of
August?
us who have worked with Uhuru Kenyatta, I'm sorry to state, that is one of the most dishonest presidents we've ever had in this country. You see the altercation between himself and the deputy president is potential to cause chaos in this country. And if you look at that event, don't need to go very far. The event that was staged in Mombasa, the universal healthcare meeting, was it really universal healthcare rollout? That's too much politics. And when you have individuals abusing and using uncivil language on an holder of the office of the deputy president, and the president seems to be enjoying those type of uncivil activities, that one bastardizes the presidency and governance. And so I think all what we are witnessing here is a well-choreographed script of personal political interest of Uhuru Kenyatta beyond the elections of 2022. And is repeating the same mistake Moi tried in 2002. Moi wanted to continue ruling this country after elections of 2002. But Kenyans stopped Moi from imposing an individual in this country. And the script by Uhuru Kenyatta to push out and edge out William Ruto from government, who was elected with him on the same ticket, I can say confidently within this television station that in 2013, I'm one of those who spoke to William Ruto to accept to be the running mate of Uhuru Kenyatta. Because we needed a stable country. We were not doing this so that we can have a government that engages in infighting throughout to an extent that it even does not hold cabinet meetings. I think what Uhuru Kenyatta has done is to set a precedence of serious disharmony. Whereas the office of the president is supposed to be a symbol of national unity. Uhuru has a government. He was elected on the same ticket with William Ruto, the deputy president. And they're duty bound under the constitution to continue working together until the last day. That we should have seen. With the handshake arrangement coming in, the handshake should have brought all the people on board. And that's what we should be seeing. And I think what we are seeing here is absolute dishonesty by the president to meddle and confuse the coming election. And we don't see him succeeding. Any exiting president who tries to impose personal, selfish interests, what does he want to do after election? What other interests does he have? He needs to prepare to retire honorably the way Moi did, because what he's doing is going to incite Kenyans to act differently. We have been in these political activities in this country, and we know exactly what will happen. Uhuru Kenyatta should prepare the country for a free, fair, and democratic elections. But what we have seen, he has overindulged.
Oh, okay. Let's listen to Honorable Sossion. Let's listen to something else that he said about his deputy William Ruto yesterday.
Na story ya watu huko kupepeta huko kwa mikutano kuongea mauongo huko haiwezi badilisha yale yamefanyika. Tunaelewana wenzangu? Let us remain focused. Let us remain focused. If there are things that are not right, that's why you're here. To help us, tell us, here we can do better, here we can do better, here we can do better. Lakini mambo ya kuongea maneno matuputupu huko, hakuna kitu unafanya. Yeah? Unaenda huko, huko, yeah? Kazi haifanywi juu ya gari, inafanywa kwa maofisi, kwa mahospitali. Yeah?
All right, I'll get back to you, Honorable Sossion, but first, Honorable Oluoch, when you watch this, I mean, it's not pleasant to watch, especially when the two leaders of the nation have been embroiled in such kind of disagreements over so long, but sort of Kenyans have gotten used to it, and it's now just politics. How are you supposed to be taking this, and what rights does the president have at a time that he is retiring? This is the very first time you're having such a young president, or so young at the age of 60, if you have to compare with the other retired presidents. What should be his place in succession politics like where we are now?
I think this varies from president to president. There is no express bar in the Constitution or any law that says that, you know, an exiting president shall not do this. I mean, it really comes out of practice that people expect that, you know, an exiting president should stay out of politics. But really, let's look at examples across, for example, in Tanzania, and then look at the United States. President Obama actively campaigned for Hillary Clinton. And he was president at the time. He endorsed Hillary Clinton. He outrightly campaigned for her against Donald Trump. And across in Tanzania, you can also see Magufuli. Magufuli was actively campaigned for by, you know, his predecessors and people who came before him. I think it is in the interest of any person who is still party leader like President Kenyatta is, to decide that what happens to my political party. He still wants Jubilee to have a say in the country's leadership, to have a say in legislation, to have a say in governance, and perhaps to form government. How else can he do that if he does not put himself at the center or trying to determine? I think what would be wrong would be for him to try to interfere with the electoral process and the will of the people. That would be wrong. To try to manipulate the voting systems, or perhaps to try and do what I think Honorable Sossion is hinting at, which I think is outrageous and without foundation, that he would be trying to militarize. If indeed that was true, then we would call out the president. But I think it is perfectly within the role of the president, within his mandate, within his constitutional rights, to be able to say, I am exiting, but I want to recommend to you, or I want Kenyans to follow this path. And the path that he has looked at is the path that they have walked with the Right Honorable Raila Odinga from the 18th of March. One of unity, one of putting the country together, one of rallying people who want the country to go in a certain direction. And then, secondly, the president has a legacy. And the person who rightfully ought to have carried out that legacy would ideally have been the deputy president. But you remember what the president said, that he had asked simply of his deputy, give me time to implement my policies. Give me time to be able to achieve this development agenda, and then I will personally come out there and campaign for you. But then the deputy president decided that no, he's too impatient, and he started to campaign 4 years down the line. So the president, out of his frustration, clearly has made his position known that I am going to campaign for somebody who has ensured that in the last four or so years, the country has enjoyed peace, the country has been able to go back to economic recovery, and the country has been able to be unified. So the person he thinks that is going to carry out this legacy is not his deputy president, and he has made his indication very known.
How should Kenyans treat such a recommendation, knowing as students of history of what happened in 2002, how should Kenyans treat whatever President Kenyatta says, this is what I think?
Well, you see, ultimately, everybody carries one vote, and the president has clearly said that. Kenyans will go to the ballot, and nobody is going to say, force you, please vote this direction. And I'm sure Kenyans are intelligent. There is a whole huge following of people who are persuaded of the president's, the direction that he's giving, myself included, and people who are of the Azimio persuasion. There are other people who will not be of that persuasion. Ultimately, that decision will be made at the ballot. So I think that it is something that we should not spend time impugning the president about. There is nothing criminal about it. There is nothing extra-constitutional about it. It is his opinion. It is his right. Ultimately, you and I make the decision.
Okay. Let's listen to what he said alongside something else that the Deputy President also said in his campaign tour of Western region yesterday. Watch.
Sasa tunaingia kipindi ya siasa. Kila mtu ako na uhuru sasa. Wale ambao wametangulia na wale ambao tunaingia. Na niliambia watu hii ni marathon. Ya? Kwa sababu hii ni marathon. Hii ni marathon.
Najua hii Kenya kuna watu wachache wanataka kutuweka katika umaskini. Eti ndio waendelee kutuamulia na kututawala. Sisi tumesema enough is enough. Tunatengeneza Kenya ambayo itafaa wa Kenya wote.
All right, Honorable Mweke, what do you make of this? And again, I asked the same question I asked Honorable Loch here. What role should the president play? What is the Kenyatta factor in this election?
Yeah, you know, Waswahili husema tenda wema nenda zako. For any outgoing president, what should be important for them is their legacy. What is it that they have done during their time with the instruments of power that they were given by Kenyans? How have we moved forward? And are you leaving a strong, united, indivisible country? Are you leaving a foundation for your citizens to be able to thrive?
What's your answer to that?
For me, it's very, very strange because, like Honorable Sosion said, what is the president's interest? You know, he seems to be getting a project, which is the ODM team, who have not shown us what agenda they have. And then he seems to be against his deputy, who has come out publicly and said, I am going to continue with the Big Four agenda, which, by the way, was an excellent agenda for the revival of the economy of this country. But it flopped after the handshake, and a stranger entered a democratically elected government, and they started embarking on things that were completely against their manifesto in 2017, BBI, and started to change the constitution to tafutia watu prime minister, na deputy prime minister, na deputy sijui nini, VT, you know. Now, here is your deputy telling you, and telling Kenyans, we had a good plan for this country. Manufacturing, let's create jobs. Universal healthcare, let's give people healthcare that they can afford. Quality healthcare. Talking about food security so that you don't keep having these droughts that we have every year and we spend billions and billions giving people relief food. And affordable housing so that our people can live dignified lives. And somebody is telling you, we're going to continue this legacy of the Big Four agenda that we promised Kenyans and didn't go through because of infiltration into our government. and you say you don't want that, you're going to back somebody who has not really given us an agenda for the country.
But how
so
do you
what is the president's interest?
I hear you,
it's
but how do you treat when the president is saying that I told them, his words,
yes,
let us work, then the political season will come, then they decided to tanga, and I said, hey, wala, you go and do it. It appears like he's saying that the deputy president left him, went to the trail, left him working.
No, what? And I'd like you to play some of those tanga clips one day. What was the deputy president tanga-tangaing doing? He was tanga-tangaing going to launch and open government projects. Even the day after he was told he's tanga-tangaing, he went to the speaker's home area in Embu, and he said, deputy president said, mimi na tanga-tanga, hiyo ndio kazi yangu. Naenda kufungua barabara, naenda kufungua hospitali, naenda kuangalia wananchi wanaendelea namna gani. Yeah, so he was tanga-tangaing doing what he's supposed to do, government work. But he was told to sit in the office. He was told not to go to church. I mean, the deputy president said, seriously,
was it
how
not
do you
to go
teach?
to church?
Yes. He was told, now, the deputy president asked, how do you teach an old dog new tricks? Since even Uhuru became a politician, the deputy president was in parliament, and all he knows how to do is to go to church and donate and build churches. Now you're telling him 20 years later, 25 years later, stop going to church, and you expect him to agree. Come on, Sam, you can only push somebody so far. But you know what worries me? And I want to support my, my SG, my friend here, Honorable Sosion. When you have a president and a deputy in that bad terms, it becomes very worrying for the country because it's a recipe for chaos. Look what's been happening to Southern Sudan. Yeah? When your deputy and your president take complete divergent views and they go out and begin to really disagree publicly, it's a recipe for chaos. And what's worrying me most, looking at the clip, when the president says he's going to start campaigning and all of that, Sam, I'm wondering, why is our lovely president so annoyed? He is furious. And that kind of worries me. And him saying that you've gone now, wait, you see us coming, you'll see us. It seems like a threat. Who is the president threatening? And why is he so angry? That worries me as a normal citizen. And why is our lovely president annoyed? At who and why? Because the anger is scary.
Let's see the anger that you're talking about by listening to what he said the Jubilee Party will be doing in the coming days, weeks and months.
Ukiona mtu akisema mimi sina project ya mtu mimi, lakini nitaangalia hata mimi kura yangu sinitaweka pahali ya mtu, mimi nitaamini. Na kama kuna mtu mmoja ama wawili watanisikiza, sinitawaambia mimi oni langu ni hivi. Si ni namna hiyo? Ngoja, mosmos, waja. Hata mimi kura yangu ni moja tu, wananikumbusha kila siku, huyo kura yake ni moja. Ni kweli? Mimi sikatai, kura yangu ni moja tu, kama ya Mkenya mwingine. Lakini chama chetu cha Jubilee kimekuwa kazini, na mimi sitachoka kuzunguka kuonesha Wakenya kazi ambaye tumefanya. Na mimi sitachoka kuambia Wakenya, chagueni hii chama yetu, mnaona hii chama yetu inafanya kazi, na tunataka kuungana na wengine kama wakina Joho na wale wengine ambao wanataka kazi, na ndio shughuli ziendelee. Ama inaendaje jameni?
All right. I don't know if that's angry, the anger you're talking about. I don't see the anger in that clip.
I don't either. Yeah, I saw the anger. That's the first time you played that clip. I saw the anger in the previous clip when he was saying, Gorgeous, sisi wametangulia, pata sisi tutaenda. Okay. And he was saying, look at the anger when he was saying, watu wako juu ya gari. Kazi haifanywi juu ya gari. Yeah, that's I'd not seen this clip, so I can't have commented about a clip I hadn't seen. I was talking about the clip that you played earlier, and there were two of them.
No. I mean, I'm putting it into the context that it was the same meeting. But Fred, when you listen to this, and the president there saying that as Jubilee Party will be coming to the ground, I'm just wondering, how will he do that? Because you're not supposed to use state resources to campaign. I know this was an issue at the Supreme Court in 2017 when they were defending their election. But for a retiring president, how exactly do you go to the campaign trail and separating yourself from using state resources?
When my friend here, Jonathan Mweke, asked why the president is annoyed, we should be asking, why is the deputy president so much annoyed and is responding to his boss every time and attacking his boss? But let me remind Kenyans, the president, before he becomes a president, he is first a Kenyan. And that does not deny him his rights in Article 38 to associate politically in whichever way, to choose a party of his choice, to vote for whoever he wishes. And he has just said it. He has one vote and he has been told. But he has also influence to make sure that he votes for the person that he believes will secure the lives of Kenyans. Number two, President Kenyatta was elected together with the deputy president on one ticket, and they worked together. The challenges that the President Kenyatta has experienced are the challenges that deputy president has experienced. The successes of President Kenyatta are successes of William Ruto. Unfortunately, the deputy president William Ruto has taken glory of the successes, but condemned and disparaged the government that he serves because of the challenges that that government has experienced. Now, the question has been, when the president exercises his right as a Kenyan in Article 38, he is condemned. When the deputy president and the team do the same, they are praised. And it is believed that the president is now interfering. President has a right to form a party. He has a right to lead a party. He is a Kenyan. So I don't see anything wrong with what he is doing. In fact, what we expect the president to do going forward is to ensure that the unity that is brought in this country is continued post-election, because that is the most important thing. And the president found new partners when his partner in election abandoned him and left to go and look for votes even before the whistle was blown to start looking for votes. The president said he was abandoned and he needed to go and look for other partners. He's found partnership in Raila Odinga, Gideon Moi, Mudavadi, Kalonzo, those who used to see them meet together, Mombasa, Nairobi. They were talking about development projects. That is what they were doing. At that time, where was our deputy president? Our deputy president was in rallies, staging cockfights with other leaders and calling them names. When you talk about threats, we saw threats in some rallies in Ukambani. Mtajua amjui, nyinyi watu, mmetukalia, hatutawapigia magoti. What were those? We must speak the truth.
Are those threats or just political talk?
Then what is that? Is it not a political talk? We must speak the truth, and the truth of the matter is, when you say that the president is threatening, and you yourself, you have been threatening even the public, then you must be called out. And we are saying, as the President of the Republic of Kenya, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has a duty to ensure that this country is united. He has a duty to ensure that the legacy that is going to live is sustained in a manner that is going to secure the lives of Kenyans. He has a duty to tell Kenyans what himself thinks is right. Kenyans, in their mind, know if that is true or not, and they will vote accordingly in their conscience. For us in One Kenya Alliance, we have been saying the most important thing today is the unity of this country, the oneness that we desire. That oneness cannot come if we have people who don't even see the good that their own government has done, the government that they sit in, the government that they drive its vehicle, sleep in their houses, drink its water, and uses all the resources.
Right.
So when you say the president is going to use government resources to campaign, he is first Kenyan, then the president. That comes with the entitlement and the protection of that office. He must exercise that. But I also agree, it will be wrong to expend public money in campaign. He has not said he's going to do that. Jubilee, his party, could be having mechanisms and structures of how they are going to extend their campaign to field candidates. But the president said he has only one vote. He will also use his influence to make sure that the people of Kenya vote for the people that he thinks will secure the lives of Kenyans. We cannot deny President Kenyatta that right. We must respect it.
Real Dismas is asking on Twitter, please ask Mweke for me to share a particular time Honorable Uhuru told our DP to stop going to church. Otherwise we'll be promoting propaganda. That is Real Dismas on Twitter.
Look for the clips, you'll find them. We all have Google. I mean, where will I find a clip? I'm on national TV. Sam,
no,
you want me to go
for,
out and get my computer to start
He's asking for the particular time that the president has the deputy to stop.
Yeah, I told him, unatangatanga, unaenda kwa kanisa, unaenda huku na pale. So he was telling him, you know, why are you going out all over the place?
Okay. All right. That's Real Dismas. That's the response from Honorable Mweke here. So, Honorable Oluoch, so as we get into this, no, let me begin with Honorable Session. What, in your considered opinion, should be the role of President Kenyatta post-August 2022?
I think I should make some corrections. Barack Obama supported Joe Biden under the Democratic Party, and that is natural for any exiting president in any democracy to support a member from his own party. Jakaya Kikwete supported Magufuli under the Chama cha Mapinduzi. That was expected. And you know, those presidential candidates are nominated through a process and through a convention. Even if you look at the American elections, they're now preparing for 2024, and the Republicans are going through that process. Those are democratic institutions. But contrary to what is happening here, Uhuru himself has destroyed Jubilee and his own party, and is fighting his own member. That is not democracy, and that is not how it should be. It's the contrary.
So let me ask you, given the circumstances that you're in, and if you're to use the example of the American elections that Barack Obama will support Hillary Clinton or will support Joe Biden, of their own party, so the president is the leader of Jubilee Party, which candidate should he support now?
If we were to respect the standards of democracy, Uhuru Kenyatta should have promoted democratic process and identification of a presidential candidate through Jubilee Party. You remember, Jubilee was born out of dissolution of many parties and creation of a super party. This is a fact for sure. But you see, right after the handshake, Uhuru engaged in systematic engagement of quite a number of wars. And if you look at it from the background, right from 2013, where the civil societies in this country, they were all destroyed by Uhuru Kenyatta himself. The trade unions, they've been stifled. They can't speak anymore. And now he's on political parties. So I think the character of Uhuru Kenyatta and the manner in
what
which
responsibility should the deputy president carry, especially in the first term that you're saying they stifled the civil society?
No, there are no, the civil societies do not exist anymore in this country.
That's what I'm asking. If that happened in the first term, what responsibility does the deputy president carry?
The responsibility of the state lies with the head of state, who is the president. And of course, all of us have been in this country all through, and we know how the president has handled the civil societies, the trade unions, and the free institutions. Right now, about the transition of 2022, and you can see the mood of Kenyans. The mood of Kenyans, revolution is quite palpable. And the mood of Kenyans is very clear. What Uhuru Kenyatta should do is to do what Kibaki did. Kibaki did not meddle with his own transition. He allowed the people of Kenya to exercise their free will, to organize. We were all around here, and we engaged each and every of these principles in these political parties. And once an election is conducted and a president is declared and given a certificate by the Independent and Electoral and Boundaries Commission, then the sitting president should simply hand over. So he should be preparing his handing over notes, and he should avoid by any standards. No, we cannot talk that the president has every right. We have seen the body language in meetings. No president in Kenya has ever uttered such. Even Moi, at his height of bitterness, there are things he really avoided. The body language of the president here is very bitter. He is not presidential. He looks an activist. Even in a presidential function where your own deputy is being vilified, using uncivil language, it becomes a point of humor that you laugh almost to death. No, you see, the president is a symbol of unity, and at this point, he should be overseeing peaceful transition, and that message should come out, that as a president, Kenyans elect a president of your choice and engage in free and fair and peaceful electoral process.
All right.
That is the language you should see from the president. But
I hear
fact,
you,
as we see at the moment in the country, if you look at the mood of Kenyans and the reactions of Kenyans, they're not happy with the political activities of the president. He's not uniting the country. He's dividing the country. He has divided more. What he's talking about, living a country that is united, is a paradox. In fact, what his own actions and he using his own hands and his own words and state machinery, he has divided the country. But
allow me to ask you this.
He has an opportunity.
Allow me to ask you this and give me a short answer. When you say that the country is divided, are you talking the country, the citizens, or the political class?
No, politically, the country is divided. You have seen the political activities across the country, and Kenyans in their numbers are continuing to resent over the behavior of, the behavior of Uhuru Kenyatta. In fact, the resentment of Kenyans, by the time we get to 9th of August, those of us who can predict the political activities and moods of Kenyans will resent more seriously to the outgoing president if he continues with this type of language. And I think it is time the handlers of the president advises him correctly to desist from engaging in partisan activities and be a statesman and unifying factor that is provided for in the Constitution. And in fact, I should be able, if the president has
I want us to transition to a different topic.
For the remaining duration, we should see him convening cabinet meetings. We should see structured governance and structured activities going on, and IEBC preparing for elections freely.
All right.
But his indulgence
SG, we need to make progress. But Honorable Oloch, I want to give you a very short moment to respond to what role you think the president should play at a time, yes, transitioning, but also that political activity is already promising action under the Jubilee Party.
I think I still reiterate what I said at the beginning, and I appreciate people who are of the persuasion that the president should be hands off, ears off, everything off in terms of, and other presidents have probably taken that position, Kibaki. I think the president himself has chosen a path for himself. He has decided that he will be outspoken. He has decided that in the first 4 years, he was going to do his work, which he has done. And he has now said the time for politics has come. But I think one of the things I want to say here is on the question of responsibility, which my colleague here, Honorable Sosion, is talking about. When it comes to all the wrongs that the government has done, that responsibility lies with the president. But when it comes to, you know, all the positives, tumejenga, tulipanga, reli, sijui barabara ngapi, mita ya sitima ngapi, those ones the deputy president wants to, from one side of the mouth, on top of his roof, like Uhuru is saying, take all the credit. And then on the other hand, at ya watu wasitu lete kutuambia this and that. I mean, you are the deputy president, you're conjoined to the president at the time of election, you are the principal assistant. So in terms of even holding back, like, you know, DG Mweke was talking about, that the president was trying to pima hewa for the deputy, don't go to church, don't do this. As a deputy, you've been a deputy governor, Honorable Mweke, and I watched your demeanor under Kidero. If you're governor, I'm sure you'd want a deputy that was Mweke for Kidero. If the president thinks that the best way for you to assist me is sit in your office, sit in your office. I came to your office many times when we engaged, and you had many things, some of which were probably diametrically opposed, some of things you would have done differently, but you did not go out there to countermand your governor. So I think that the deputy president has set a very bad precedent in which you can be elected, disagree with your president, and refuse to leave office, take credit for the good things, and then throw the credit for the bad thing. So I think overall, President Uhuru Kenyatta is perfectly in line to take the position that he has taken, to decide to persuade these people. And he has said very clearly, I don't even see the anger. I have seen Uhuru more angry than this. Did you see Uhuru at the nullification of his results? That was an angry Uhuru. You could feel the anger. And I've seen him angrier in different circumstances. This is not an angry Uhuru. Uhuru is actually in his element now, just talking and throwing banter and saying, you know, hata mimi na hiyo kura yangu moja nitaiweka, lakini for those who can hear me, I will persuade them. I have seen Uhuru in angrier times, and I think we should give him the space to decide who will carry out his legacy, and that person is not the deputy president.
You know, the most amazing